Alright, good morning, guys. Well, last night I watched VHS Halloween, and I thought I'd do a little review on it. Um, my feelings as a series as a whole, I remember being really disappointed originally when it came out because, like, with I think like VHS, I thought it was gonna be more an homage to like the shot-on-video horror movies of the '80s and the '90s, which is not what we got. They were more just like found footage anthologies, which at the time I kind of resented, but now as time has passed, I kind of respect them for what they are. Even though, like every anthology, there's some good, there's some bad in each movie. Um, I remember the earlier ones, like the first two mainly. Those stick out to me the most. Excuse me. Just because there were like directors attached to it. Like Ty West was one of them for the first one, and then like obviously the Radio Silence guys came from the VHS movies, and then the director of the Raid did that cool like cult one in the second one, and they were just directors that had attachment to the VHS movies originally. Now these are like I guess they're up and comers. I just never heard of them. And actually, recently I started watching the ones that Shudder is putting out because I was just out of the loop for a while and I was unaware because I thought after the third one they just quit doing them VHS viral, which that one was horrible. But I thought after that one they just quit doing them. But no, Shudder's been putting them out like once a year. So not too long ago, I like binge watched all those. And again, it was kind of like each one had one really good one, and then the rest were either just middle of the road or just horrible. Which leads us to VHS Halloween. And I took some notes here. And we're just kind of going to go through the movie as a whole. So this will contain spoilers for anybody that wants to see it before I talk about it. I think the first thing I'm just going to go over is the wraparound segment. Like the thing that kind of, you know, wraps all the segments around. There's this soda, and sorry, I watched this last night. I didn't write down the name of the soda, but it was like Phantasma or Phantasma or something like that. It's like this haunted soda, and it affects certain people. Like it's actually kind of cool. Some of the test subjects like tentacles come out and like grab the face, or like uh, there's this one. This made me laugh actually. It's later on. This kid opens up a soda after he drinks one, and like he didn't get affected by it. And like, oh, that's cool. And then he opens up a second one, he just explodes. Just some kid explodes. It was kind of funny. And yeah, that again, they're just the wraparound segments. They don't really lead to much, but it does lead to what like a group of them, like seven or eight of them, and then um let's see, it was seven or eight of them, and oh one girl gets infected by it or possessed by it because I think it's like possession. One girl gets possessed by it, and she ends up being the face of the commercial. Um, that wraparound portion, I mean, the wraparounds in one of them, it was like one of the most interesting things. I can't remember which one, but yeah, it was all right. The effects are cool. Like I will say, these modern day ones, um, there's a lot of good practical effects, and there's one short that's a great example. There's a couple shorts in here that are a great example of that throughout, which I'll point out. Okay, now the first segment, which I don't have the names of these, I didn't write them down, but I can. Oh, the crap. Okay. Yeah, this one, it starts off with these girls, and they're just having fun on Halloween, and one's about to go to college, and they're like trick or treating and stuff. And they stop by this random house that nobody's going to, and they like they knock on the door, and then they leave, and then like this weird arm comes out with a thing of candy, and they go into the house. And as they're walking around the house, they see like this thing is set up for like baby stuff, and it's like a baby shower and all this stuff. And it's like you find out that the house is owned by, I guess, a witch to a degree, and there's like adult babies in there. Like there's one like big adult like male baby, and like he's chewing on the wall and stuff. It's kind of humorous. And like there was this disturbing looking thing where it's like a breast pump, but it was like for like six nipples, which later you see that the witch has like six breasts. And as they're just going through the house, they're it's kind of like a haunted house kind of thing. Like, you turn the corner, what's gonna be next? It's just kind of one of those, which is very much like in the vein of a lot of found footage movies, where like it's like the climax, and it's like, oh, what are we doing? Where are we at? Blah blah blah. Oh, what's that? What's that? What's that? They end up finding one of the girls. They mentioned earlier that there was a girl that went missing the year prior, and they find her, and her face is like all like babified, like chubby cheeks and stuff like that, and all she can say is like "mama." And then towards the end, one of them gets one of the girls gets separated from the other one, and she ends up going into the basement where she finds that there's a delivery, like a delivery table, and like the names of the girls are on a banner, which was Lacey and Kaylee. Was it Kaylee? Something like that. But their name was on a banner, and you see the girl that disappeared like laying in the lap of the witch, and like she's like humming and stroking her hair, and then the other girl just seems to just give in and just does the same thing, and then the segment's over. Um, I would. This is not a strong one. They did not start off strong with this. Um, Again, it just kind of reminds me of a lot of found footage movies where it's like the climax, and like especially I know it's not a haunted house, but like with a haunted kind of thing, and like it's like, oh shit, everything's going crazy now. It's just very generic, and really this wasn't the best one to start off with to me. I did think it was humorous with like the visuals of like the adults turning like into like chubby cheek babies, and like especially that man baby that's running around like chewing on the wall and stuff. That's kind of funny. I just wasn't really entertained by it that much. Which leads us to the second segment, which they did this in another one. I think it was the one uh, a couple years ago. Because I watched them in order, but I watched them back to back, so they kind of blend in. But there was one where it was like an earthquake from a previous VHS movie. There's one with like an earthquake, and it was subtitled and stuff. This one's also subtitled, and it's about these. It's this police reenactment where these police officers are going with this guy that the night or two prior they snuck into this house where a median used to be, and um, they want to go, I guess, do a seance because they went to the room where all the seances were. And now this segment's kind of annoying to me because it cuts from like the police reenactment footage where they're like reenacting the scene to the partiers like cell phone footage, which I think is it just to me it doesn't really lead up to anything. It just kind of tries to put style into something that really isn't a very interesting one at all. Um, So what happens is they say this word on the wall, which it's in, I think it's Spanish. It's in Spanish, so I don't know how to say it. Remember my Conjuring review? I can't say love or Nora or whatever. Um, but he says it, and this rotary phone appears, and when they answer it, people start getting possessed and stuff like that. So they end up doing that, and then one of the police officers answers it because the guy doesn't want to answer it anymore. Um, they all shoot to the ceiling, and then the partier that they're making reenact all this stuff from the night or two prior. He starts going around like grabbing eyeballs and stuff to everybody. They fall to the ceiling, and that's like the end of it. I don't. This was the weakest one. This was really weak. I didn't like the gimmick of like it switching to like the cell phone footage back to the crime scene reenactment footage. Um, like to me, it didn't add anything. It could have just been the reenactment footage, and I think it would have been fine. I don't think it needed the cell phone footage, but um, and plus, like, where did they get that? I mean, this is one thing I've always asked about these movies. Like, this is also kind of irritating me about the first one. Like, I remember there was that one that was a Skype call on VHS. Who the fuck put a Skype call on VHS? Who? And also they had the one with the succubus, which was cool anyway. I like that one. But like, who put I like eyewear camera on VHS? Like, some of it just didn't make sense why it was on VHS. But again, like, who put this reenactment footage of this seance with the cell phone footage of the party? Like, it just, I don't know. This was at the point where I was like, oh, is this really just gonna suck? Excuse me. It's in the morning. It's my coffee. Um, and then we get to the third one, which, ooh, yeah, this is a good one. This is my favorite segment. This was a nice surprise. Okay, there's these two couples, and they're like trick or treating, which this was a little too cute for my taste. But one of the couples is dressed like the cameraman of found footage horror movies. Whatever. But that it didn't ruin it. I just thought it was stupid. Like, get it. But they go to this house where it's like the honor bowl, right? Or it's like one per person. That's the run. I think that's what the short is actually called, is one per person. I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but um, one of them grabs one of the candies, and they're all these weird foreign candies that no one's ever heard of. But they're like full size candy bars. They're big. And one of them grabs one, opens it up, and like it's shaped like a realistic dick. Like, I work at a place that sells sex toys. It literally looks like something I would sell at my job. It is very realistic, and yeah, he takes a bite out of it. The joke's there with the filling and all that. But then he goes to take another one, and this hand comes out of nowhere. Like, they look at the bottom of the bowl, there's no one at the bottom, and just drags him and one guy trying to save him into this world. And as the two girls run away, they get sucked into this world where it's like they're in like a warehouse parking garage thing, and the only thing left is like the bowl there. So they go check it out, and then this mascot comes out of nowhere, which is like a round head. Like, I may use that as the image for the YouTube video, so you'll see it there. And like, it's just this goofy thing, and then well, essentially, like, they turn the people that take more than one, like they take more than one into their next line of candy bars. And like the one dude that like bit the dick earlier, like he's the first one to go, and he gets cut through the machine, and they like cut his hand off, his dick, his balls, like they cut off his body parts and they cover it in chocolate and stuff like that, and they start wrapping it. It's like a conveyor belt of sorts, and um, yeah, and they're just running around this warehouse trying to find a way out, getting away from this mascot that could magically appear and teleport and stuff like that. And I thought it was really fun. It was a lot of fun. Like it was a nice change of pace from like a super serious tone and like that boring ass like seance one. This one was a lot of fun. It's really up my alley. They really take the concept of like this anthology, like just something silly for Halloween, and they amp it up, and it's fun. Like the girlfriend of the guy that gets chopped up first, she ends up getting like this like plastic tube shoved up her ass, and then they turn it on, and the candy blows her face out, and it's just like blasting with like Skittles or something like that. It's a lot of fun. And then the couple that's the found footage horror cameramen, they there was a thing earlier where like they're engaged, but the girl doesn't want to be. She just said yes because she was afraid to say no. And then the guy, like when he's about to die, he's asking her like, or he's like doing the wedding, and she's like, "I do not." And then he's like, "What?" and dies. And then the it ends with the girl getting out, but then like the mascot comes in and says, "Fun size," and smashes her head, which that was cool. And then it cuts to a mom and her two kids, and they say, "Oh, the candy's weird." One kid bites into it, and there's like metal on it, and then the kid just like says, "Oh, I saw more than one. Is that okay?" And then the ball just gets him. Like, again, that's my favorite out of this whole thing, and it left me hope for the rest of it because I'm like, you know what? Like I said earlier, all these VHS movies have one good one, and if I took anything away from this anthology, it was that was the really good one. So I kind of wish like it was like most of them. Like I just kind of wish like they would put these shorts on like YouTube or something. I know that defeats the purpose, but like it's just like I wish I could just show someone that and not the rest of the movie. Even though the rest of it's not bad. Let me see. Uh, oh, segment four. This and again, that one had really good effects, and this one coming up has really good effects. It starts off with this like audio video place where they're I don't really know what they're doing. I didn't understand that. They're like recording kids and asking them questions. Like it almost looks like a lineup. Like it has like a height chart, and they're shooting their stuff, asking them questions, and then you later find out um, that there's somebody kidnapping the kids in town, like of all ages. Like it could be like it could be like a 5-year old to like a 17-year old. They're just disappearing, and their bodies are being found later on. And like the owner of this video store, like this audio video store, kind of introduced the people that work there and stuff like that. It's kind of like his daily routine. And then they go to this Halloween party that's held by the cops, so it's a safe place, so no one gets kidnapped. And they find out somebody went missing. The cops, for some reason, ask the owner of the VHS place, the video store, if he can get his tape because the parents don't want to go get theirs, which is kind of stupid. But it's a reason for him to go back to the video store. He gets there and he finds some of the footage, like, it looks like torture footage. Like, people are getting skinned, like, people are begging for their life, they're screaming. And again, these are all kids ranging from, like, 5 to 17. And then, you find out that, the guy behind all the disappearances is the editor of the. I think he's the editor. He's the dude that's in the back. You see him for like a second. I think his name's Bruce, and he's behind all these. And like, there are some creepy scenes with like 5 to 8 year olds where like they're just begging to go home and they're crying and like he's saying, "Do you want to have fun?" And like, this one is kind of creepy, but it's essentially like just a snuff ring. Like he's making a snuff ring. And then the owner of the video store gets knocked out, and he tries to help one of the kids that got his face skinned, and the guy's wearing the kid's skinned face, and he tries to help, but for some reason the kid just hits him with a hammer, and then another missing girl comes in the frame and starts stabbing the shit out of him, which get lets Bruce get away, and the owner of the video store is getting blamed for the murders and the kidnapping and stuff. And then at one point, Bruce is doing like a manifesto in front of the camera with the skin kid's face, and then he's just talking to the news and like he looks like you know it looks like he's gonna start the video store back up again and just continue where he left off. This one just didn't have a lot of plot to it. It was to me it just seemed like it was there to look at cool gore effects. Which granted the effects work is great in this one. It's because he skins a lot of them and like dismembers them and like I really think the effects work was solid in this. I think it'd even be solid if it wasn't like supposed to be downgraded video quality. I think it would look good. All the effects in this movie are good, but this one really stands out to show like I don't know who did the effects work on these movies, but like I said, these recent VHS movies, the effects went away from like the CGI kind of stuff you saw in like the first three, and really started being more practical and fun. So that's a good point I can give these movies. Um, okay, then the last one. Um, it's this. It's this. Hold on a second. Okay, it starts off with this family that does a haunted house every year, and now since the kid's a teenager, he doesn't want to do it, but he reluctantly goes and does it. Um, they go to this antique store, and there's an employees only section, and the dad ends up stealing a record, like a vinyl record, that's like the spooky Halloween sounds kind of thing. Except this one reminds me of like a death metal cover from like the 90s. Like it has like bisected kids on it, and the ghouls are just eating them. Like it almost looks kind of like a Cannibal Corpse cover or something, which is kind of cool. But yeah, they play it at the haunted house, and everything that they set up at the haunted house, it turns like comes to life. Like there's a segment where like they walk in and there's the graveyard. And this death was really cool. This was creative. It's like this sheet ghost, like like what Michael was wearing, except the sheet like devours the guy and like through the eye holes, blood squirting out. And again, it's all practical. And it was so cool. I've never seen a sheet ghost used like that. So that was really interesting. And then they go into like a mausoleum and like zombies come up and kill a couple people. Like there's about 10 people in this building. And as they keep going, there's like an execution room and one girl gets executed like by electric chair. And then this one girl gets it good. It's like she gets her head split like vertically. Just that was a really good effect. I always like that kind of head split. And then they go into this like kind of like a Hansel and Gretel kind of thing where there's a witch, which the witch is really cool. She ends up biting this like young girl's fingers off. She's like 9 or 10 or something. Like I will say this about this movie: it is not afraid to kill kids. There is a lot of kids that get killed in this movie, and I applaud it for that. That was great. Um, but they finally get out of the haunted house, but the witch escapes and grabs the camera and like she like beheads this one trick or treater, like throws it at another one, and then she like picks up this kid that's dressed like a mummy and goes into the sky, and that's the end. That's the end of that one. That one, that one's not bad either. That one didn't overstay its welcome. It didn't overcomplicate anything. It was just kind of straightforward, which that's kind of what these movies need to be. Like the shorts need to be just like you're in, you're out, move on. And those are the ones I like. Like the first one with the witch, the pregnant, the baby one. I forgot to mention this, but there was a moment where they find this like picture, like Polaroid, where I don't know if she hung herself or people hung her since she's. I think she's a witch. I don't know if she really is, but like she's pregnant at the time of the hanging. So like they try to shoehorn that in, and that was kind of stupid. And then even though the straightforward one with the partiers in that house was straightforward, I just thought it was stupid. But these last three were pretty good. Even though I think, like, actually, this was the best one out of the Shutter ones. I think this one I enjoyed the most out of the Shutter ones, the Shutter produced ones. And I mean, if you have AMC Plus or whatever, I'd say definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun, and I will say this: all of them do feel like Halloween. Like it's not just called Halloween for no reason. It all feels like it's Halloween. Even the wraparound segments, I don't know if it's taking place on Halloween or what the connection to Halloween is with that one, except for the commercial for the soda later. It's a Halloween commercial, so maybe that was it. But yeah, it was surprisingly good. I thought I was gonna come on here and be really disappointed, but it was good. It was real good. If you could sit through the first two and make it through the last three and the wraparound, overall, it's got it's a positive note. So, all right, this week life got in the way, so I couldn't film with Jake, but right now we're working on to do a remote setup where we could do more episodes. I gave him the movies to watch, so he'll be doing that, and then Tuesday I'm off, so I'm gonna film my episode. Hopefully, get it done and posted by Tuesday. But hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you next time.